Mario Kart 9 was revealed a few days ago during the Nintendo Switch 2 reveal trailer, and I have broken down the trailer frame by frame to find every Easter egg I possibly can, and during that I found there are 21 playable characters. But before we get to that, we're going to look at some of the Easter eggs and some of the little details in the trailer and some of the implications that there could be about the gameplay, the new systems, and what the new gimmick/feature could be. So first up, Mario Kart has a long history of using its famous characters, names, items, and objects to inform fake brands and sponsorships that are featured around the Mario Kart tracks. And the new Mario Kart 9 possibly, is no exception to this. And I found some really cool ones, some returning ones, and even some new ones. And these are the ones that I found during the trailer here. So first up, we see the Fireflower gas station. This is a brand new thing for Mario Kart 2025. And maybe, possibly, a new gameplay feature. Maybe we have to refuel carts on a sort of long-form race, like the 24-hour Le Mans race. Or it could just be a decoration on this particular course. Now for a returning sponsor, Mario Motors, as seen in the Arcade GP version of Mario Kart, as well as Mario Kart 8 and Deluxe and Mario Kart Tour. It was also featured on one of Mario's outfits in Super Mario Odyssey on the Nintendo Switch. It's possibly a reference to a cancelled Mario Kart spin-off that was in development for the Nintendo DS. Another returning sponsor is Luigi Tires. As you can see here, it was also featured in previous games, and it first appeared in Mario Kart Double Dash on the GameCube, but it also appeared in Mario Kart DS and Mario Kart Wii. Next up is MKTV. This was a game feature in Mario Kart 8 and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe that allowed players to share replays and video to other players across Mario Kart 8. Now, this could just be a reference, or it could be a sign that MKTV is returning to the next Mario Kart title. The brand MKTV was also seen in Super Mario Odyssey alongside Mario Motors. Once we leave the circuit and enter that open road section, we can see flags for 1UP Fuel. Now, this was only featured in Mario Kart 8 and Deluxe, but in previous Mario Kart titles, there was a sponsor called 1UP Coffee, and coffee is a type of fuel, at least it certainly is for me. We can also see here a squid sign with bloopers on it, but it's hard to tell if this is a brand or some sort of advertising alternative. Yoshi's Diner is up next, and the branding goes along with the diner itself. Whilst Yoshi signs have appeared in past Mario Kart games, this is the first time it's appeared in this form with the red Yoshi wearing a chef's hat and the Yoshi's style logo. Then just behind the diner, we can barely see a Morton Construction branding, which is a relatively new brand, only appearing in Mario Kart 8, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and Mario Kart Tour. And finally, we can see this sign next to the diner, which I can only make out orange, but in past titles, there were the branding and sponsorship for Princess Orange, which was a Princess Daisy themed sponsorship that featured in Mario Kart 8 and Mario Kart Tour. Moving on from the brands, there are a lot of background characters that we can see in various colours and styles, starting off with my favourite in the trailer is the Sledge Bro, which is a rather chunky looking Hammer Bro style enemy. It just looks really cool. We of course can see red and blue Shy Guys, and Toads make the most prominent appearance with green, pink or red, blue, yellow, and even ones operating cameras on top of the MKTV bands. And lastly, there are various Yoshis dotted around the place. We see a light blue Yoshi, a yellow Yoshi, and also what appears to be a dark blue Yoshi wearing clothes. Now, I'm fairly certain this is the first time we've seen a Yoshi wearing anything apart from its boots and saddle. So this makes me think it could be something other than a Yoshi. It kind of looks like it's wearing goggles too. Maybe it's Dory, but on land? Or it could be something brand new. It certainly looks like a Yoshi with clothes to me, but I guess we'll find out. Just briefly on the characters, one of the things that has a little bit annoyed me with this trailer is in past Mario Kart games, the characters that can be seen dotted around the track as spectators are significantly larger than the characters we play as on Karts and Bikes. And the new Mario Kart is no different. We can see here a light blue spectator Yoshi spectating a rather tiny, in comparison, playable Yoshi. This is probably to make them more noticeable and to improve their visibility as a decoration, but it is a little strange that we're still doing that now in an era with high-resolution video games and TVs. So that's a strange choice for me. Now here's some other miscellaneous things that I spotted during this trailer breakdown. Firstly, we can see that the circuit they're on is called Mario Bros. Circuit, as it's prominently displayed beneath the Mario Kart sign. And just beneath that, there are 24 starting grid places. And I've gone through the trailer and can confirm 21 playable characters, which we'll get to really, really soon. Also, no surprise, but there are bikes and karts available in this game, which is to be expected, let's face it. Now, one of the most interesting things that I found in this trailer is the Mario Bros circuit looks like it continues onto the left. We can also see a big sort of loop in the background further on in the trailer. But instead, the characters are diverted off the track onto this road next to Yoshi's Diner. Now, to me, this seems very, very strange. Why would Mario Bros circuit be that road when we can clearly see there's a course that goes around the buildings of Mario Bros circuit? To me, I feel like this is pointing to a new feature of the Mario Kart game, and that is that this Mario Kart is open world. Or at least is in some form more expansive than just the tracks we know. The reason for this is because the Mario Bros circuit clearly continues off to the left, and they drive off the circuit onto an open road, which the trailer zooms out from, and we see that that road continues on, not looping back in any way. Now, Mario Kart has used tracks that are just point A to point B with checkpoints in between to create the 3 laps and no loop. But that doesn't seem to be what this is. We're purposely driving off the circuit onto an open road. That seems to be a visual metaphor for what the game is going to be. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm reading into it a little bit too much, but I think there's other signs that we can see in the background of that open road that point to it being more than just the circuits that we play as. Let's not forget that the Switch 2 is backwards compatible, meaning that a lot of users of the Switch 2 are going to have access to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, as it sold 65 million copies. That's a lot of people that already have access to a Mario Kart that allows you to play track after track after track. There has to be a difference with Mario Kart 9 in what it does and what it offers the player. And that difference could be the open world adventure style gameplay that we've seen in other racing titles. I'm thinking like Diddy Kong or CTR, but more expansive, maybe to the point even of games like Forza Horizons and Burnout Paradise. And something that I noticed with this trailer is there is a small ramp that seems to jump over a shipping container. Now, that ramp you could call a shortcut, but a shortcut to where? It doesn't offer the player any sort of value in using it. However, Burnout Paradise had ramps across the map that were like collectibles, and you had to jump across each ramp to collect the ramp. This could be a similar sort of thing, or it could just be encouraging the player to venture off the road. Either way, it doesn't seem like a functional part of a course or a track. It seems like something that's more explorative, and that's not something we've seen in a Mario Kart game before. Just as we see the racers turn onto that main road, we can see a large diner sign. Now, that's not the interesting part. The interesting part is the 3 smaller signs attached to that. The first sign looks like a route sign or a road sign that displays the name of the course they've just left, Mario Bros Circuit, as well as a small part of that course as a graphic. Now, this could be used on a world map if we are looking at an open world Mario Kart game where they would be the icons to show where the courses are and possibly even fast travel to. We can also see a fuel sign and a parts sign, which could hint towards a parts and upgrade system, as well as having to refuel our karts and bikes, which is backed up by that Fireflower gas station we saw right at the start of the video. We also see that behind the players, as they enter the open road, there is a giant Shine Sprite sign that seems to be blocking the other direction of the road. Now, this could be locking off an area that we can't explore yet, or it could be that we're wrong about the open world and this is just the way the course is set up. But to me, I don't understand why courses would overlap. Why is this open road overlapping with Mario Bros Circuit? Surely that's locking the creators into design patterns by having the courses overlap. The only way it makes sense to me is they overlap because it's an open world, because you can utilize these roads and these circuits in different ways to create more varied gameplay systems and further the amount of gameplay offered to the player. We can also see on this open road that there are boost pads, and now if it is an open world, maybe it's on this road to just help speed the player along to their next destination. We can also see further down the road there are coins and item boxes. And to sort of back up more of this idea that it has an adventure-like element or an open world-like element. If we look to the dirt roads that come off the main road, we can see that they have decorations on there, even a Mario Kart banner, which just begs to be driven through. I don't see why there would be this level of decoration on these dirt roads if they're just for the background. It really feels like these are places you can drive to. There's also the fact that these dirt roads branch off in different directions away from the main road. It really starts to back up the idea that this is more than just a circuit racer. I also think the long shot on that open road at the end is just a sign that we are to leave the circuit and travel the open road. I think it is a visual metaphor and a visual message that we're being shown purposely to get videos like this of people discussing what it's going to be and what it all means. I also noticed that the rock formations in the distance bear a striking resemblance to mushrooms found throughout the Mushroom Kingdom. Now, for the last thing that I sort of noticed in the trailer, and possibly the most exciting thing, Yoshi's Diner appears to have a new collectible. And here it is, and you can see it slowly rotates, and it has a glow-like appearance, similar to when Mario collects a superstar in other Mario games. And I've scrubbed backwards and forwards through this, and I'm fairly confident that this is a sort of brown paper bag that you would usually find food inside with a smiley face. Here it is for you guys to see. I'm fairly certain that that is what it is. It seems to be a brown paper lunch bag with a smiley face. And it's found outside of the diner, which is similar to fast food restaurants that use brown paper bags to deliver the food to customers. Hey, before we get onto the characters, if you are enjoying this video, please leave a like and consider subscribing. I'm brand new to this YouTube thing, but I am very determined to be covering as much Switch 2 content as possible. So if you love Nintendo, if you're excited about the Switch 2, drop me a follow, hit that bell, and get notified as soon as a new video comes out. Now, on to the most important, most exciting part of the video is the characters. Now, I've gone through this and found 21 characters that I can definitely confirm. And first up is obviously Mario. He takes center stage in the trailer, and this is probably the new standard kart, which is much more off-road and rugged looking than we've seen in previous standard karts. And there is a general feel towards more off-road type vehicles with the kart selection that we can see. For example, next up is Luigi, who is in a sporty Jeep/SUV type vehicle. It's a little nondescript, but it definitely feels more off-roady. The third character we can see is Bowser, and he is clearly on a quad bike, a very, very large quad bike at that. After that is Princess Peach on a off-road style dirt bike with spiked wheels, which is very aggressive for the Princess of the Mushroom Kingdom, but who am I to judge? We can also see Yoshi on a pipe style bike, similar to the pipe kart, which is the sort of retro Super Mario Kart 64 style kart, which is my favorite. I love that kart. Very nostalgic. We can also see Toad in a retro style dune buggy. After that is Daisy in some sort of three-wheeled submarine/submersible. It's hard to tell exactly what it is, but that's my guess. After that, we can also see Rosalina on a snowmobile type vehicle. It's got skis at the front and then like tank tracks at the back. And then we of course see Donkey Kong in his whole new redesigned glory, looking pretty similar to the movie Donkey Kong, but also I feel like sort of a retro throwback to early Donkey Kong games where he was more the villain. I think he looks absolutely fantastic, and he's in a sort of a less off-road vehicle, a more muscle car, sporty car, kind of a Ford GT look to it, if you know what that car is. Really loving Donkey Kong in this. I think he looks great. Can't wait to see what other Kong characters look like, such as Diddy and Funky, if they make the cut in this title. Then we move on to Wario, who early on in the trailer we can see he's just riding a huge rocket. I mean, it seems very Wario. We can also spy the Koopa Trooper in some kind of kart. It's too hard to tell, but it seems like a sort of open-wheeled, very old-school type vehicle. Now we're getting on to the ones that are more difficult to spot, but we can see Pauline on some sort of bike. Now, what's interesting about Pauline is that she was a DLC character in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and this could mean that she's just in the base game. Now, I am guessing there will be DLC for this title, as I am sure the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe DLC and the Mario Kart 8 Original DLC were pretty popular and did very well for Nintendo. We can also see 4 baby characters. We can see Baby Mario, Baby Luigi, Baby Peach, and Baby Daisy. Now, it's hard to tell what vehicles they're on. They're on mostly carts. I think Baby Mario's maybe on a quad, but most of them are in really small-looking carts. And after that, we can see Waluigi on a giant chopper-style motorbike, which is very fitting for his character. He looks great on it. We can also see Toadette on a bike of some kind. It's hard to tell what sort of bike. And then the 3 hardest to spot in this trailer, right at the end, just before the camera turns to the diner, we can spot Birdo, King Boo, and Shy Guy. And that takes us up to 21 characters. As I was editing this video, I noticed a 20-second character, Baby Rosalina, which makes a lot of sense because the other babies from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe are here, and it'd be strange if she wasn't included as well. So there she is. I'm pretty sure that's her. It's pretty blurry, but fairly confident. And that's my breakdown of the small amounts of Mario Kart 9 footage that we've seen. I remain pretty convinced that this has some adventure-style gameplay, or is even open world. I think it makes sense for the next step in Mario Kart. I think it makes sense to have a playable, large-scale hub world. And I think having 24 characters in an open-world lobby-style game would be great. And I also think that on the smaller circuit tracks, you could reduce that number back down to 12 racers. I think this is going to be a much more varied Mario Kart game than we've seen before. There's not a lot to go from, but I think Nintendo have been very purposeful in what they've shown us and how they've shown us and the sort of visual messaging that's going on here. But I guess we will all find out on the 2nd of April when Nintendo decides to reveal everything, well, hopefully everything, about the Nintendo Switch 2 before its presumably July release date. Thank you for joining me on this video, and if you liked it, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!